3D printers are these incredible tools that allow us to create whatever we want, like printing small items such as this Oreo-shaped AirTag holder for your keys, all the way to designing and creating your own custom socket organizers for yourself, and then selling them online for others, like I did. Link in the description. So with all this potential, why don't more people have them? Well, there's just this teeny tiny problem with them. They can be loud. Like, really loud. And that's just not going to work for us. Now, these loud noises can be narrowed down to two key components. And luckily for us, there are solutions that we can implement to reduce the noise being produced by our printer. There's also a third hidden noise being produced by our 3D printer, but I'll leave it till the very end. So, the main noises being generated by our 3D printer primarily come from the stepper motors. These are the motors responsible for moving the X, Y, and Z axes, as well as the filament extruder. And solving this one is pretty simple. We just need to use some stepper motor drivers to reduce the noises. We can do this by using an upgraded circuit board which includes them. In this instance, I'm going to be using the Big-Tree-Tex SKR Mini V3. If we go ahead and install this new board, replacing out our older one, our 3D printer goes from sounding like this to this. Yeah. Those drivers made a significant difference to our stepper motors, basically just removing the loud noise entirely. This upgraded circuit board also allows for additional features which we can improve our 3D printer, such as this BL Touch level sensor, which we can use to automatically level our bed, making it a lot easier when starting new prints. And since we can customize the firmware on this board, there are many different settings we can now tweak. But for all that we're concerned about, we just want the stepper motor drivers. And with our first mod installed, we have reduced the sound of our 3D printer down by a significant amount. With the stepper motors taken care of, the last major noise coming from our 3D printer is from the fans. We got two smaller fans on the extruder and the base, and then a larger one on the power supply unit. Now, we can go ahead and just put some fan covers to block the noises, but this is only really a band-aid solution and we're not really solving the problem. Instead, what we really need to be doing here is replacing the stock fans on our 3D printer with some much quieter fans. So, we'll be replacing them with some 12-volt Noctua fans. Now, the problem here is that the stock fans run off 24 volts. So, if we use the Noctua fans, we're going to fry the motor inside of them. So, to get around this, we're going to be using a buck converter to drop the existing 24 volts down to 12 volts for this fan. So, let's break this down. As it's currently set up, we're getting 24 volts from our power supply unit on our 3D printer, allowing our fan to spin when triggered. So, we'll use the cable on the stock fan and hook up the components we need to use. To start, we will install our buck converter just after the connector that connects to our upgraded circuit board. We'll go ahead and strip the cable and then solder that to the input on the buck converter. Once soldered, we can then change the output voltage by adjusting our buck converter. And then with a multimeter, we can check that the output voltage is 12 volts. Great. Now that we've confirmed that, we will go ahead and add our Noctua fan, which, now running on the 24 volt outlet, will spin our fan without the motor being burned up. We'll go ahead and install this to our 3D printer, and once done, our fan noise will go from sounding like this to this. It's much quieter than before. As for the rest of the fans on our 3D printer, we can just go ahead and apply the same logic to each of them. So after all of that, we've yet again reduced the noise of our 3D printer down just a little bit more. Now, there is one final thing we can do to reduce the noise of our 3D printer when in use, and funny enough, it's not actually a component. It's actually about the surface you're printing on. If we use these sound absorber panels, it's going to dampen the noise coming from the 3D printer when in use. Furthermore, if you're printing on a shaky table like what I have, this will also be a factor. So instead, opting for a stronger, sturdier table will also assist in dampening the noise coming from our 3D printer. CNC Kitchen made a video about this where it goes into more depth, and I would highly encourage watching it. It only makes a small change, but it still helps with reducing the noise from our 3D printer. If you have your own 3D printer and you're looking for things to print, I actually sell my own models online which you can buy, like the socket organizer I showed at the start. I've left a link to my store in the description below. And with that, we have drastically reduced the noise coming from our 3D printer.